on Cape Cod, especially to get onto the western tip of it, there was probably 99.9% compliance with people wearing masks. Everybody had a mask. I was amazed, and I know they've gone out of their way to do that. So that was kind of neat to see that. The only other comment I would like to make, I know my granddaughter got a kick out of going on Halfway Brook, Jim, and Marin, that was a big hit. She thought that was the greatest thing in the world. You couldn't get her to pick up around home, but going on a cleanup was kind of nice. It's kind of nice to see our candidate to be Dan there too, Sec, and I think it went really well. I know Marin's going to talk a little bit about it after. So I'll go right from there into the treasurer and financial report.
Hopefully everybody received their packets. I did email a few other things this morning. Total assets, $275,292.22. Bills for payment and approval, $10,593.23. The added bills total $443.14, which is a county bill for working on, I believe, the big truck there.
The 1 ton?
I think so. I think it was the 1 ton.
Yep.
Battery and the flashers. So I think it was the big truck. And then a Curtis Lumber bill. And then I also sent you a quote that we need to review and discuss about cleaning the office. So I don't know if you want to go over that, Mark.
Okay, you want to go over that now? Has everybody got that sheet? We could do it all at once. And we talked about it last month for the general cleaning, and we have a price coded here, $926.52, and that would be carpeting, cleaning all the offices, the conference rooms, the bathrooms, the receptions, disinfectant, and I think it's something that even light fixtures and cleaning, I think it's something we need to do. And North Country Janitorial had put in this quote, and when anybody had any comments or discussion on this, it's something we've talked about.
Mr. Chairman?
Yes.
Did other quotes come in?
No, we only had them. They were the only ones that we brought in.
That we solicited, or the only ones that put in?
They're the only ones that I contacted because the county DPW has a contract with them. So I talked to Julie about that, and she referred me to DPW.
So are we piggybacking off of DPW? Is this in line with our Water Conservation District procurement policy?
Yeah, actually, under $1,000, I can do it up to $1,000. So
okay,
anything over that requires 3 quotes. But actually, our policy doesn't even state that they have to be written quotes. So yes, we're in compliance with that.
Any other comments or concerns or questions?
Yeah, just curiosity. Is this just a general cleaning because it's needed, or is this something to open up the office, when the COVID thing is over?
A little bit of both, because the office really, in my report, we took a day off, basically not a day off. We took a day and cleaned the office ourselves. But, we didn't, even with all the time we spent on it, we didn't have time to get everything done. So I'd looked at potentially running carpet shampooers, and so there's a cost to that. And so if we could bring some professionals in and they hit a lot with their equipment, I thought that was a good way to do it. And that's why in the budget for next year, cleaning and office supplies and cleaning is a little higher, with the anticipation that we would have somebody come in probably once next year, if not twice, to do that as well. But the carpets are starting to, the carpets haven't been, other than being vacuumed, they haven't been touched in the however long we've been there, 9-10 years. So I figure it's probably time to kind of kill 2 birds with 1 stone.
Anything else? let's do a motion to accept the cleaning. If anybody has to get a motion to do that, I know they probably want to get that going shortly. Dan, second. Okay, Craig, any other discussion on this? All those in favor?
Aye.
Carried.
Thank you.
You want to do a motion on our regular accounts? Paying our bills. Afraid we have to pay bills even at this time. A motion to accept the payment. We need to pay our bills.
I'll move that.
Tim, second. Dan, any more discussion on it? I think there's anything else we need to discuss on that. If not, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Carried. Okay, correspondence.
We need a motion on the financial report.
Oh, the motion on the financial, that's right. Financial report, a motion on that.
I'll move to accept the financial report.
Okay,
I
second.
second.
Okay,
Here.
all those in favor?
Aye.
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 Carried. Correspondence.
All right, so we do have some. First of all, just to assure you, I do not have COVID. I have allergies, so I decided to stay home instead of coughing and hacking and making Mark even, sit farther away from me than he normally does. So, we do have some correspondence. Actually, too bad Dean wasn't here because there are two of them are pertaining directly to him. One is from Kelly Nessel up in Johnsburg. She and her husband, Bob, do a lot of work on the park up there, North Creek, the Little Gore, things of that nature for the town. Dean and I can't remember, Marin, was it you or Bob who went up? Do you know?
It was me.
Okay.
So.
They went up to help out the park, get some hydro seeding done. And Kelly shot an email out. Hi, Dean. The beach looks great. Thanks so much for your hard work. Must have been tired at the end. That was a long day. I'll check on the grass, see if you were right. And I'm sure the grass, the upper pavilion around Joe Minder will look better after the application of chocolate sauce, which is the compost, the flowable compost that gets sprayed out. Please thank Marn for me as well. Andrea Hogan called today and said, hey, the beach looks great. Also suggested she send accolades to Warren County Soil and Water at the next county board meeting, and then hope that she said she will. So nice job, you two. Dean also got from Career Technical Education from Southern Adirondack Education Center. Dear Mr. Moore, I would like to take the opportunity to thank you for participating in our work-based learning program. The success of our program is due to your contribution and commitment. Your time and effort has provided our students with valuable learning experiences. Thank you for all your time and willingness to accept Dave Luck Jr. at the district. We look forward to working with you the next school year. Warmest regards, Mary Seal, Coordinator of Work-Based Learning. So a couple nice shout outs to Dean. And I think a lot of months, those are the types of things that we get through for the rest of the staff. So it's nice to see. I'm going to save any of the tree stuff for your report, Marin, so you can talk about it later. But you never know when something's going to pop up. I opened up the paper the other day when I brought it in and saw the Hemlock Woolly Adelgid front page. And I don't have any issue with it, except I was like, what the heck is this? It says, if you see it, report it to your local soil and water conservation district. So it's nice to know that we're needed, but we didn't have any information on this. Actually, it's a sign from Saratoga County Soil and Water and their PRISM, which is the invasive species unit for the DEC or for the state. And there was a miscommunication amongst somebody, and it showed up. But we hadn't had any phone calls on it yet. We just needed to know how to approach it, and I contacted both Saratoga County and DEC, and Ben Thomas had it cleared up in about a half an hour. So it's nice being included in these types of things now, these larger issues. So, stay tuned. We'll let you know if we hear anything, but it ties in nicely to our Hemlock Woolly Adelgid program that we have for landowners. So, but you never know where you're going to be. We're going to be seen. So that's it for correspondence, Mark.
Okay, that's good. It's nice to have nice letters from individuals, especially saying something nice about staff members. That's always good. No presentation this month. We'll go into the regular business office operation plan, monthly review and discussion.
Yeah, I was just wondering, I have increased staffing is applicable. We don't, without going through a whole review of the plan, we don't have a way to have more staff in the office. And lately it would have been a little bit easier to have another staff person in. I didn't know. Initially, I thought about just having, seeing if you wanted to do a resolution to allow additional staff in, but maybe we do it as an amendment to the operations plan. You don't have to do anything right at this moment. I can write it up, but we put it in there and basically just get a quick approval from everybody, because there's sometimes, if somebody's sick and we need somebody else, I'd like to be able to pull them in. We are covering each other on projects and programs, but right now it looks like the way I'd written the thing from Delaware County, it's pretty locked in. We have to go through a fairly formal board process, whereas if we can just make a modification to the plan and maybe a notification to the chair or vice chairman that we'd like to bump it up a person or something. It's not any great shakes, but just allows us some flexibility.
Sounds like a good idea. And that'll lead us right into the county budget meeting with Warren County.
I think he was looking to get.
Do you need to get a motion on that, Jim?
I don't think at this time. Let me put something together.
Okay, all right.
I'll send it to, we'll have it for the next meeting. It's just, it's all based on what COVID is doing or isn't doing. And, right now we see a slight uptick. So why would we want to do it now? But I'd like to have it in the plan. So
It's a good idea to have it.
All right. So last month Rhonda and I went to the budget committee meeting, and there was Rob Lynch from the treasurer's office, Rhonda, myself, Kevin Garrity, who's the budget officer. We had Christy Miller, assistant to Ryan Moore, county administrator, and Claudia Bramer sat in. She had been in the previous one. So we had a good conversation about a lot of things that we're doing. And they went through the budget, and the only thing that popped up was we had over budgeted on the health, but that was unbeknownst to us. The day before our meeting, a memo had come out, and Craig and Dan, you probably were aware of this, that they were holding insurance costs to the previous year. So we have, I believe, let me find it here. I have a sheet. 69,000. We had budgeted 69,000. They said it was going to be 6. So we left that till the end. We ran through our projects, programs, everything we're doing. Kevin Garrity had a lot of nice things to say. Claudia asked me if we were going to replace our diesel 1-ton with an electric truck. And after I finished laughing, which she took pretty well, I said, no, but our car, absolutely. So I think we can look at those types of things. But it was pretty relaxed. And after hearing that we need to increase in our liabilities in our vehicle fund, I think, and Rhonda can say something if she wants to on this too. I think without any real issue, Ryan Moore just said, well, why don't you take that additional funding and put it right into the liabilities count? So I was thrilled with that. And I don't know, Rhonda, we were probably in there for what, half an hour, and talked about the budget for 15 minutes and the rest for projects.
Yes.
Entry and shrub. Yeah. So we're going with this right now. I'm happy, especially with the.
We're going to be putting monies into the liability account.
Yeah, that's a good idea. Planning for the future.
Yeah. So, does anybody have any questions on the budget? Excuse me, I have to mute myself.
Okay, we can go right into the annual work plan. 2021.
Okay, so I did make some corrections. I couldn't find my notes, but I know I picked up 2 corrections on dates.
Yep.
One clarification so that you folks know, this used to come up fairly regularly. This is the 2021 plan of work. I have a 2022 annual plan of work. That's because we'll be doing that in 2022 or 2021 for 2022. And the 2020 annual report is what we send out. So that's a review of all projects and programs. So those dates are correct under office operations. I don't know if anybody had any comments or questions or concerns about the plan. It basically just cleaned up a little bit with grants. And I did talk briefly to John, Nick, Craig. And I think if it's okay with the board and Mark, this is goes right with D for the Part B approval. We would like to. I know we talked last month about the cover crops and such, and I'm planning on. I have that in here. I think we're going to do that under Part C, but for basically after talking to Ryan Cunningham and evaluating a little bit, it's probably just more clean cut if we have a simple project, which we've done in the past, which is a watershed assessment. We haven't done one for Loon Lake since I think 2003, maybe 2004. And Doug O'Brien, who passed away a few months ago, had asked if we would be able to do an update to that. And I said, yeah, we'd certainly look at it. So that's why that is in there. And that has a Part B parentheses with it. That would be our Part B project for $6,000.
Anybody got any questions or comments or anything they found on there? I think I same way I found all the dates and everything. I didn't find anything that was needed to be changed. I think we've got those covered. Anybody else have any comments?
There's Mr. Chairman, thank you. There's a column for notes. Does that column ever get filled out?
Bob had actually filled them out for me. No, but what we do is we use this. I just change it so when we do the end of the year review, we can put notes in for that. So we, as we're going along in January, that's basically what it's for, is to note, if there's any updates to any of these items. So I've started to use the same layout for both.
Okay, Part B approval, Loon Lake Watershed Assessment Update.
Yeah, so as I said, I don't think I remember working on that. I think it was 2003 or 4. A lot of information has changed as far as what's available as far as digital information. We have a very good working relationship with the Loon Lake Park District and obviously the town of Chester. And Craig, that's why I was saying, I think we would look at it the same way as we did Friends Lake, work with the town and work with Jeremy on that, and yourself and anybody else you wanted, and John and anybody from Loon Lake to review and update and expand on the existing Loon Lake watershed assessment. It'd be for $6,000, and I think that would be about, I'm trying to think what that is. It's about 200 to 250 hours worth of our office time.
You need a motion on that one?
I will, because you'll need to come back in once I write it up and sign it. I think you signed that one.
Okay, so it'll be next month probably then for.
It's due.
So when you come up with a written proposal then?
Well, I mean, I can put it together. That's what it'll be. It's just an update to the watershed management plan. I can put that together if you folks are good with it. We know it's going to be a max of $6,000 of reimbursement, because that's what Part B maxes out at. It's a 2-page document that I fill out. So I would say that if you're good with that, make a motion to approve that as the Part B project, and then this week, and then you can swing down the corner. So
proposal for Loon Lake. Motion to go forward.
So
Craig,
moved.
second. Dan, all those in favor?
Aye.
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 Carried. Water Quality Strategy Committee meeting October 14th.
So, you know, I've been putting these on since we've gone to Zoom. I know some of you folks have attended. There'll be a couple presentations at this one. We had one set up before the second one rolled around. The first one, Michael Martin is from Cedarwood Engineering. He's actually going to be presenting on the project that was just in the paper the other week, the Lake George Escape Wetland Rehab Project. I've been down there a couple times at his request to take a look at things. So I thought it'd be interesting for the Water Quality Committee to take a look at that. And then I was asked by Chris Belden and I don't know what county committee it would be, but it had to do with the proposed septic transfer law on lake shores or lakes that the county is looking at. So that's something that's been I remember going to a meeting at last year, but I hadn't heard anything else about it. But I guess there's been discussion in committees. I don't know if Craig or Dan has any information on that.
I can add to it. It's come before a committee several times. There's discussion about it. It is any properties within 250 feet of stream or lake, and it requires septic inspections. The Warren County Building Code would be the responsible party for doing the inspections on it. There are a lot of questions about it, and I will say even from here in the town of Chester, of where we have and have had a septic inspection law for properties within 200 feet, and real estate agents have known about it for the past 10 years, etc. Rarely, if ever, does it get done. It's always you realize that property has transferred hands before you know. So there's trying to iron out some of the problems with it. It does not have unanimous support at the county level. I think some of the resistance is because of the bureaucratic burden it would put onto the county for seeing through these inspections, more so than the principle of it. The principle of it is to be able to keep our waterways clean. People support that. It's just the application of it where there's concern.
Okay. Well, we were asked if I was asked if that could be on the agenda, and I thought it was a good spot for a public forum for it. I did reach out to Supervisor Bramer, asking her if she could have a short write-up that I could send out with the agenda, kind of reviewing some of the information, or basically how it went from the beginning to where it is now. Because I think, I think there would be a lot of questions. I agree with you, Craig. And depending on who you talk to, there are a lot of different opinions. So, but anyway, I just wanted to bring that because you'll see that. I got a feeling we'll have a lot of people attending that meeting via Zoom because of that. So, but you never know. So if you're on the email list anyway. So you will get an announcement with an invite. And if you would like to attend, it starts at 9 a.m. on the 14th. Sorry.
Okay, sounds good. That'll be an interesting meeting. That sounds like it. The state meeting in October, Zoom meeting.
We sent out information to you folks. I think it was last week. I scanned in the information and sent it out. This is usually where people will travel out and go to it, but if it's being held via Zoom, I would say just let us know. We can get you signed up for it and attend. It's usually this is one that counts towards the training. So I know that we've already exceeded what we need to for the performance measures this year, but I hate to see something like this drop off, especially since it is a state meeting, and hope that at least one of the board members is able to attend virtually. And then, like I said, just let Rhonda know and we can get you signed up. Ryan Cunningham, I don't know if you have any, I don't have anything, I didn't bring it home in front of me, but do you know anything about it that you can expand on?
NYACD in particular?
The meeting, yeah.
I haven't heard much about it. It's been reviewed at board meetings. I know people are going to be attending. I don't know that I've seen an agenda. Blanche was on something recently, but I don't know if they're coming out with something soon or what.
Yeah, they actually did. But it was snail mail.
Okay. Oh, it was. Okay.
Yeah, and I scanned it and sent it out. So don't get confused, anybody, because I believe that it's on the agenda. It says 2022, but they mean 2021.
It does.
So.
Okay. No, I don't. Nothing to add on that. I don't know a lot about what's going on with them.
Okay.
All right, so if anybody is interested, to contact Rhonda so we can sign you up. Happy hour is not included in that. The Warren County Tree Challenge, and I just comment on that, it seems that there's a lot of interest in it. I've had more people ask me about trees, and I just said, I can't tell you what the biggest and the oldest is, but, context, I think there seems to be, you've generated, Maren, you've really generated some interest. It'll be kind of neat to see as time goes on that people call me and I'm thinking, no, you got the wrong person.
Yeah, I think, Jim and I have been really lucky to get that out at kind of the perfect time. I was out on a drive this weekend and, the fall colors are really peaking up north. And we're getting a lot of interest. I opened up my email this morning and had all sorts of inquiries. Not even people who had found trees, but were just interested in it. And also noticing other things in their county, including like invasive species and stuff. So it's an interesting morning for emails. But yeah, we had a lot of press happen with this. And, I want to thank Don Lehman for a lot of that. Sarah Frankenfeld as well, who made the app. She got us in touch with Don, who was able to put it out on all of the Warren County Facebook pages and just get the word out to everyone in general. And I did a quick Google search this afternoon, and we had it listed in the Lake George Mirror. The Post-Star had a really nice article. ABC News 10 and LakeGeorge.com for tourism had created this article about how to use the app, it's really user friendly and reads really well. So really happy about that, and just hoping that people, get out and feel encouraged to do something a little bit different and get those signs distributed at some of the trailheads and recreational areas. So,
Mr.
Craig,
Chairman?
would you like some? Oh, sorry.
Yeah. What about the webpage? When will that be up on Warren County?
It should be up on there should be a quick link for, okay. Well, I'll have to contact Sarah about that because I was on it this morning. It seemed to be working. So
Okay.
She sent out an email early, not too long ago, saying the community mapper was down.
Okay.
Thank
Thanks,
you.
Jim.
But Craig, we were going to look at you and we figured you'd want to have some of these. They're pretty nice, 11 by 17, glossy hard stock.
Ooh, glossy.
Oh yeah.
We can drop
They're
them off
really
to you.
showy.
Shiny.
Yeah. If you'd like, we'll have Martin autograph it for you.
Yeah, definitely.
Have the,
Got copied in your packet.
Right.
Yeah, we decided to get them printed so that they just by who we went through, which was Sidekick, just because that heavy cardstock, for just the trailheads and stuff, it looks a lot nicer in the glass, and they were able to add some extra effects that our printer just wasn't able to do. So they look really nice and bright, and very, very eye-catching. So
Yeah.
And if anybody's interested, when I was down at Westbrook the other day, I'd seen them in the planting plan, but had never found them because they moved them. But there are, if you've ever heard of tulip trees, there are tulip trees over on the Charlie Woods Park side of Westbrook. And
Cool.
I've never seen them up this way. Supposedly there are some in Pack Forest, but there are 4 or 5 planted along there. I was talking to Don Lehman. I was talking to Sarah Frankenfeld on the phone about the app, and Don Lehman was up at Westbrook getting some of the glossies from me, and we just happened to find them. So that's what it's intended for, just look at that. That's kind of interesting. That's kind of neat,
right.
So. Oh, and I have not got a phone call back, but we're supposed to be interviewed by NPR too.
Oh wow. So maybe this will be more popular than the stolen trees from the office.
Nothing could be more popular than stolen trees.
Like, I was thinking about that earlier today. I'm like, wow, I mean, how many news reporting places were
There's like 76.
That? Yeah. So, but I think we've gotten a lot of good press, like, given the fact that, it's just for Warren County and stuff and residents here. And who knows, maybe other counties will be interested in doing something similar.
Yep.
Yeah, I think what is nice too is you get people that are outdoors, they're looking. I know a couple of people called me about seeing a certain kind of tree in Warren County. Was that planted? I said, pretty good odds. And one person called me, they said, besides looking for trees, they saw bobcat and moose tracks. So they're paying attention when they're hiking. I said, we're accomplishing something.
Yay.
It seems a lot of interest, and I think it's something you're going to hear more and more about, other parts picking it up. All right, we'll go from Warren County trees to Lake Champlain Basin Program grant applications due October 27th.
All right, 2 of them are out right now. They are grants that we normally apply for. I think what we're going to do is one of them is a stormwater one, and that's up to $25,000. I've talked to the folks at the Lake George Transfer Station where Nick has a DEC grant and has been doing work. It's kind of odd. It's owned by the Village of Lake George, but the town of Lake George has a lease on it. So actually town employees there. We know the folks that are there. And we talked about doing some green infrastructure there, taking a few pieces of everything we've kind of done for green infrastructure and enhancing what Nick is doing with his DEC grants. We haven't really worked inside of the transfer station. It's been on the periphery, but we thought this might be a good spot. And one of the gentlemen who works there is an excellent equipment operator. And we're having a lot of success working with the Lake George Highway Department, who oversees it. So I think that would probably be a good choice. I think it would be strongly supported by the Basin Program, as the stormwater goes directly to Westbrook and tributary to Westbrook. So it's a headwater stream. So I believe we're going to put an application together for that. And then the other one, Nick, you're going to have to remind me, which one was the other category that's open right now?
We got the pollution prevention and habitat conservation grants, and then aquatic invasive species spread prevention grants.
So the aquatic invasive species, that's the one that we're kind of talking about. And I think I know Nick and Bob and I have talked about that because they put in, if you recall last year, a grant for education, and it was a video of the deltas with the plants. And it was denied, but it was highly thought of. It was well-defined. And I asked Nick what he thought about putting it into the invasive species, and I believe you thought that might not be bad because that's what they thought that was maybe lacking a little bit. So maybe just altering some of the narrative and putting it in and putting it back in, that might be a good, easily fundable one as well.
Yeah, I think it would have been funded last year if it was under invasives and not education. They just said we didn't have a heavy enough focus on the educational aspect. It was more of the final product.
Yeah. So those are the 2 that I'm going to say we're going to develop and put in. There will be, I noticed today, I was in for a little bit today and I saw some other ones, Champlain Valley historic program or something like that. I'm not really sure if we've never applied for those. A lot of times we don't qualify for them, but then they will be issuing 2 other of these local implementation grants. One will be for education and outreach, and I think Nick and Maren were looking at an agroforestry one, which I think would be an interesting one to put in for the education outreach. And then the other one is a support up to $4,000 for support of for our office. A few years ago, we did the forestry program. But I think what we would do this year is look for seeing if we can get some more, doing some marketing with outreach, basically taking what Maren did with the tree challenge and kind of linking up our ag program and essentially our clean lakes and waters program and education and stormwater. And so we have these great programs, and really, you know, we've gotten a lot of feedback as you've seen on the tree challenge already. I think if we put something together in kind of a good formal way to get it out there for folks, I think it would generate even more interest. And also, you know, looking at it, you're having a lot of people move up into the county, and it just opens up the avenue for people to get to know us. And so if we can have the artwork and the graphics and all that basically developed and printed, that's what we'd be looking for. So that's at this time what I'm looking at as far as the 4 basin program grants that we usually go for.
Hey, Ray, there seems to be too, looking at some of our counterparts in Vermont, some of the things that are going, there's a tremendous amount of interest in Lake Champlain right now. It's just amazing.
Yeah.
Then we'll go right into the current grant project updates.
Well, let's see. Dean's been working on his erosion and sediment control from the DEC. Bob has been working on, you know, Upper Hudson with Maren primarily. And I think he's worked out the culverts. At this point in time, it looks like the county is going to get funding towards Finkelbrook, which is great. And I think I'm getting a little confused on the other one, but I think it is going towards town of Queensbury because that one's in the Champlain Basin for Buckbee Road. And he's worked with Sean Doty a little on that from Chazen. So I'm just speaking for those two because they weren't here. Maren and Nick, why don't you cover yours? NACD and DEC and basin programs.
So for the basin program grants, 2 Wednesdays ago, 2 Wednesdays ago. I'm losing track of time. I apologize. So we put in the gardens for the bikeway, the 2 pollinator gardens. And that went really well. We had only, you know, really positive responses from people who were out biking, you know, biking past and being like, hey, nice job. So we got those all finished up. And the next steps for that are just the education signs and getting the Fix-It station put in. So I encourage everybody, you know, while it's beautiful out and stuff, to take a walk and check those gardens out before we get into the winter. For the invasive species grant, today is one of the trainings, which will be tonight at 6 o'clock. We're doing another Zoom training where we'll do the riparian and aquatic invasive species. So if you guys are interested in that or sharing it with anyone, I'm trying to get more people tuned into doing that webinar with us. But that's going well. In addition, for the Quickney roadside erosion grant, I've been working with the town of Hague. We've ordered some supplies to do some ditch stabilization projects on Silver Bay Road, and then just kind of planning some stuff out for the spring next year. So continuing on with that. And then Nick and I had our final NACD training for the urban agriculture grant. We did a fall workshop that was in person with just the community garden members. So there's only a few of them. But this was more geared towards kind of planning for next year, using some fall cover crops, and just answering like any questions people had for their beds. We also handed out some cover crop seeds for people to try. And I think that was like a big hit amongst the community garden members. And I think we're very pleased with how that grant went this year and just trying something new. So overall, very good.
Yeah, I think that that NACD grant finished up really nicely, and I think every single bed in the community garden has been cover cropped. They used every last bit of seed we purchased, which was way more than we probably needed for that community garden. So it should come in very nicely over there. And we bought them some tools for cultivating to be kind of more proactive about weed control rather than kind of reactive. And one of the community gardeners, terrific guy to work with, he's like, oh man, I'm buying one of these for my wife this year. It's a molten ear hoe, which is kind of like a wire hoe. But I mean, it can potentially save hours upon hours of work. So that finished up really nicely. As for my DEC grants, our Flat Rock Road stormwater project was completed on Friday. The town of Lake George installed 4 drop inlets, some piping as pre-treatment to a bioretention area. Came out pretty nice. I haven't seen the complete final project yet. But working with Rob Lanfear over there is just terrific. He's doing a good job at the highway department. Our Sunnyside North project with the town of Queensbury was completed. We put in 730 square feet of permeable pavers. And this is that classic example that I ran into on Fort Amherst in Queensbury, where I sent out letters to the landowners saying we had this grant. I really wanted to put in like somewhere around, 2,000 square feet, give or take, on a few locations in those tight areas, especially along Sunnyside. And only one landowner signed on to it. So, they got 730 square feet of permeable pavers over there, where it used to head cut down to the lake. And other landowners were driving by like, oh, that's great. How do I get on this program? I'm like, yeah, read your letters and answer my calls. But with those 2 programs, I think would be good future grant programs for kind of small green streets type projects. But the town of Queensbury did a terrific job on that project. And then the Lake George Village is putting in 110 feet of precast porous concrete sidewalks with us. So that order just came in today. So that'll be installed either late next week or the following week. And then, yeah, that's really it for grant updates.
Okay.
Yep.
All right.
Any questions? Boy, it seems like you're busy, that's for sure. Community Conservation Program funding discussion.
I don't think we have any for this month.
No, we do not.
Nothing for this month, okay. And we're gonna have sunshine in October. The October board meeting.
I say we give it another try and take a look, see how the weather is. If it's a decent day, if people are still willing, let's do it outside. We'll do a luncheon then. If anybody wants to, I talked about, besides Nick and Marin, I'll bring my apple grinder and apple press and you can make apple cider. So, no, Mark looked up pretty quick. I see that. What you do with the cider afterwards, Mark, is up to you. So, but yeah, why don't we just play that one by ear and see if we can do what we were planning on this month. Sitting here, it was just sunny a minute ago, and then we had, like I said, we've had about 4/10 or almost half an inch of rain in my house now. So,
Yeah, you made the right call on today.
yeah, I think we were all pretty bummed about it, but it worked out with me being home and Dean and Bob being on the job. You would have had to have Nick flipping the burgers, and you don't want Nick flipping the burgers. So.
All right. All right, so we'll plan on that. I think one thing I was going to ask too, we probably should ask Ryan, if you got any comments, or we didn't, I know he left you off of here, but we ought to.
No,
Oh, he's down below.
Yeah, that's okay. I appreciate it. Nothing major has changed. We're moving pretty slowly at the state as far as contracts and payments on grants, unfortunately, but they are continuing to move things out and prioritizing AEM and contracts that are under construction right now. This time of year, I'm looking at a lot of Part B projects, the annual plans of work. I guess, Jim, just as a reminder, just draft my way because I haven't taken a look at it yet.
Yeah, I'll get that. I'll send it to you tomorrow.
Yeah, I just need to have a draft on file by the 1st of November.
I'll send it to you, Brian.
Yeah.
Okay, that's awesome. And then the AEM 5-year strategies, most districts are updating those if they're in the same calendar year, which most people are at the 2021 to 2025. So I'm looking at a lot of those too. Any questions on those, you can always reach out. Otherwise, yeah, we're still in a bit of a pause in a lot of the stuff that we're doing, but we're trying to attend meetings and get people the information they need to update their reports and plan the best they can for next year without knowing a lot of stuff yet. So that's really it for me.
All right, Ryan, I did see your name on there, but I figured we ought to let you, there's nothing worse than being just before adjournment. Board of Directors reporting in. Does any of the directors, anybody have any information or anything they want to share or ask or?
Yeah, I'll just share that I did find an interesting tree on the Carolyn Fish Trails in Chestertown here, and I sent the pictures to Maren, and she agreed with me. It's an interesting tree, so I'll get some better pictures and probably submit that to the tree challenge.
Excellent.
Now, do you know what kind it is, Tim?
What kind? It's a white pine.
Okay, all right. We just want to make sure, that. Okay. All right. Is there anything else we need to cover, Jim? Is there anything else before we get to the board reports?
Nope, not on the agenda. So. Nope.
All right. Any reports? Anybody's got anything that they didn't include, or anybody got any questions to Jim or Maren or Nick?
I do have a few things to add. I didn't have it on the agenda. It's more of a heads up. November is when we usually identify the Conservationists of the Year and the new the Conservation Recognition Awards. So if anybody on the board has any suggestions, I know that we usually bring them and you review them, but we like to be inclusive on this. So if there's any folks you think that would be worthy of discussion of Conservationists of the Year and Conservation Recognition, that would be great. Craig, I don't know if you had an opportunity to talk to Jason, but they use the Office of Emergency Services pump that's outside of our office. I think it worked very well.
It did. Thank you for loaning that to us. It did work very well. He was impressed on how absolutely quiet it is as well.
It is amazing. So been working with Brian. He's bought a few things for it. We've bought a few things. And as you saw in my report, it was interesting. He asked Dean and I asked me to bring it over the day after the fire up in Bolton. Yeah. Actually, the day of the fire over in Bolton. So I grabbed Dean and we went over there, and he asked us to pump out the basement so that the state fire inspectors could get in there. So, I would never, ever think of anything like that would ever cross my path in soil and water, but you never know. So, but that's really what it's intended for. It's not just our projects. It's anything to do with emergency services. So, and the last thing is on Friday, worked with a crew from Warren County DPW. Sam Malley is the foreman, and he had two guys. One was some two equipment operators, and Randy Rath. Randy on Thursday had gone with Dean and taken the pump, and they drew down Pond 1 down at the Westbrook Conservation Initiative and Pond 2, so we could dredge. And we dredged Pond 1, which is the forebay. We took out about 30 to 40 yards of solid material, and then we worked on cattails. The cattail has exploded down there. It wasn't supposed to be there, but they grow anywhere. Basically, there's water. We took out about 60 yards of cattails. That's just a rough estimate. And Jeremy Farrell from RPI is going to take a sample of the existing cattails and do the old estimation of how much phosphorus and nitrogen removed by doing that. So thanks to Randy, big thanks to Randy at the LGA for that. And the DPW guys couldn't have done a better job. The equipment operator they had was absolutely phenomenal. So we didn't just go through and scrape everything. He reached over the edge where all the boneset and Joe Pieweed and things of those fringe wetland plants reached right over and scooped out cattails just by feel. And we got rid of them up at the Lake George pit. So that's all that I have, but I thought it might be of interest to some of the board members. So we are actively managing that site. So.
Nick, anything else you got?
Yeah, I apologize for not getting my report to the board on time. Also, it's been about 3 weeks straight of projects and workshops and 4-hour trainings. God, I think we already have like 40 people signed up for the 4-hour tomorrow, which is just terrific. Those have been going well. You know, on top of all of the grant projects I was just discussing, you know, Jim and I got out and did the MS4 sampling for the city of Glens Falls. There was a slight mix-up with a newer girl in the lab at Glens Falls, so we only got half the sampling bottles. So I'm in discussions with the city on what we can do about that. And then things are going well. AEM is starting to pick back up. I'm getting calls from, actually I just got a call the other day from Hal at Sunset Farm, and he's had such a busy year. It's been, you know, by far the best year he's ever had on the farm. So much so that he's ready to hire a full-time farm manager, and he's buying another high tunnel, and he wants to finally implement his no-till plan, which is just terrific. Because he's one of the few examples where I've actually seen compaction from tillage in sandy soils. So it's going really well. Things are cruising right along. It's been a busy but great September. And then we had, I helped out the Conservation Skills Workshop. Olga and I taught a basic soils course. Olga's with NRCS. She's a soil scientist with them, Olga Vargas. And we did an online course, and then we did an in-field course. And I think they did like 4 field courses across the state. So we held ours at SUNY Adirondack. And SUNY Adirondack, the maintenance crew there dug the nicest soil pit I've ever seen. They built us a ramp down into the pit so we could just walk down in. They made it nice and big so you can get a few people in there to look at the soils. And the location they chose actually hit both soil types that SUNY Adirondack has on campus. When it was supposed to be one soil type, we were actually in another, which was pretty neat. So no, things have been going really well. That's about it for me.
Hey, Mary, anything to add?
I think overall I've pretty much covered most of the things I've been working on. I had some stuff in my report about doing the purple loosestrife beetle releases. And that went really well. We released actually behind the Chestertown Town Hall, Chester Town Hall, and in the wetland area. So we'll see how those turn out. And then we did another release at a private landowner's property who's located on the Hudson River down in like the Queensbury area. So I think that'll have a lot of impact along there. So yeah, exciting stuff. In addition to that, Craig and I have been in touch about doing a little experiment with Japanese knotweed control. I had read a few months ago about a method that they use out in Europe where they basically put a wire mesh down that essentially girdles Japanese knotweed when it comes up and like grows throughout the season. So we are kind of in the process of selecting some property to try that on. That's some of the town properties. So just that's pretty much it. And overall, it's going well. So.
Okay, is there anything else we need to cover? I think we've covered a lot. Okay, I guess we can get a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Okay, Dan, second. Craig, I wish everybody stay safe, and
Thank you.
we will be in touch.